up in the audio. It gets fucking hot. I don't want to turn the AC on yet. Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. God damn it. I can't do it. All right, let me try it again. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to do it again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 4. Damn it. I had it. I got untongue-tied, and you messed me up, Gables. With your sweet, on fucking pace, on time drum beat. Sorry. Trying it again. Take 15. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 426 of the Directors of the Podcast. I'm as always, I'm Tyler. And joining me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'm wide awake. Well, to be perfectly frank with you, I'm on point. I feel like
On fleek.
$1 million. Part of it has to do with the NFL draft. I feel like the Niners absolutely did a fantastic job. I feel satisfied with what they've done. Trey Lance, I'm having big hopes and expectations for. At the same time, it's like it's going to be one of those moves where I don't think we're going to see a lot of the fruits of the labor going through for the beginning for like the 2021 season, but I feel like next year, like the season after that, man, it's probably going to be one of those ones where we may see some of the end results, but it all depends upon how he does. But other than the NFL draft, man, I have been playing some fun games. It's just been basically like kind of like an interesting sort of week, considering I'm like on my vacation time right now. So
Son
I
of a bitch.
took off yesterday, today. As a recording, that's like Friday, Saturday. I have my normal Sunday and Monday off, and I have Tuesday off. So it's like 5 days of just getting random stuff done. I'm currently, for those that are listening right now, I'm just describing, I'm kind of trying to reorganize a bit of the room. So it's like I've gone through my bookcase. I'm trying to get a whole bunch of things for the Twitch streamers right here. Where it's like I'm trying to get a whole
Ooh.
bunch of this Mount Rushmore like esque type of things all sorted and accounted for. Because man, it's like being a collector of video games, of physical games. Man, it's a big pain in the ass if you don't have a lot of room for it.
I understand. I understand.
Other than that,
I
no.
don't have the. I'm sorry. I don't have the issue with physical games. Because I traded in my Xbox One X today. I traded in my PS4 Pro a
Hey,
couple weeks ago when I upgraded. I got like $250 for both of them a piece.
damn man. I mean,
So that's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah. So that's I basically like my next 8 games have been bought for trading those in. But for people in the background, for me, can see that's just one shelf of just shit of just fun. This is my third party shelf. Well, so I have another shelf that's on the other side of the apartment, on the other side of my TV stand. You can't see it in the stream. Um, that's just my amiibos, and it is completely full except for the bottom has the NES Classic and SNES Classic.
yeah, yeah.
But everything else, the top to bottom, is completely full of just amiibos. Like there's no room. I bought like 3 more and I had to start pushing shit around. It's bad. And then this one right here is just like I have at the very bottom is my Fast and Furious cars that I have, my model cars. I have my next shelf up. I have my a couple books like our books, and then my Xbox Lite, and then there's a couple Gears of War characters. I could just now notice. I could see in the corner there that Marcus Phoenix fell down. The next shelf up is just an amalgamation of mostly Sony stuff, and then Baby Yoda, and then some more push stuff behind it. The next one up is basically 3 Keanu Reeves Funko Pops and then a giant Keanu Reeves from Cyberpunk statue, and then there's the goose. There's an Aaron Rodgers Funko Pop that I'm probably about to burn. Um, and then up top is my Last Guardian statue, which is my pride and joy, besides Louis. And then 2 Solid Snake statues up there. And then I got my Ask Awada biography up there. So, and I have an extra life light that's that my John Wick's Funko Pop sits on. So yeah,
God damn.
I understand Gables. Not from a game. I have a problem of buying collectibles rather than buying games. Which honestly, I should probably just buy games at this point because, well, I buy games, but I mostly buy digital. But and I trade them in. So you can't trade these fuckers in.
Oh no.
They're not worth anything.
Oh no, man, I can't really trade anything in at this point either because my fucking used game store closed down in the last couple
Yeah,
months.
it's
So
true.
it's like
All you can do,
I
yeah,
could,
all you can do is donate.
man. Yeah, that's the biggest bullshit thing about it, man. It's like even if I wanted to get rid of some of the systems, like say the PS4 Pro or whatever the fuck, I can't do that unless I want to try to go forth and try to sell it online, which I could, I
Yeah,
should, but
Yeah.
it's so much easier just to drive to a town over and just trying to, you know what, go to the pawn shop. Hey, what are you gonna give me for this?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, they're never gonna give you decent value for it. So, yeah, I went up to I went today and traded a PS4 Pro. I traded it in a few weeks ago, and they got $250 for that. And then they had a deal again. I traded in my Xbox One X, and then I traded in It Takes Two because we beat
Yeah,
it.
might
We're
as
never gonna
well.
play it again. Yeah, I paid $40 for it. Turned around and got 27 for trading in today.
Hell, that's
So
a deal right there.
$13. That's a great
It's a
deal.
fucking great deal,
And because they
man. I
had
mean,
some
fuck, when they come play
yeah
again.
they had some like really great trading deals. That's like I make a pretty I don't make a profit, but I GameStop, this might be why they're going out of business because I go there not super often, but I go there a decent amount. And what I do is usually I trade shit in. I wait till there's like deals, or I wait till I have like enough points or shit like something like that or whatever. Like I got like Assassin's Creed Valhalla last year for like brand new on PS5 for like $8, and a couple weeks before that I got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for like
There
$17
you go.
because I get points or like there's trade-in deals or something like that. And then I turn around and trade all those games in, and I got like $90 for trading value. So yeah, they're probably losing money on me at this point.
Yeah,
So
probably.
um, yeah, so this is why they're going out of business because their dedicated customers are scamming them for money.
Might as well.
Uh, yeah, and then I trade that shit in. I buy PlayStation bucks to buy digital games. So whoops. Um, yeah, but I'm sorry I cut you off. Go ahead, Gables.
But anyway, I was just finishing up. I want to hand this off to you, Tyler, because I know you got some important news to let our listeners know about.
Yeah, so um, really shitty news. I found out just a handful of hours ago today. Uh, we are kind of pirate radio right now, Gables.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a home. After almost 8 years this month, it's now May. We started Memorial Day weekend, the Saturday before Memorial Day in 2013. So almost 8 years now. It's May 1st as we're recording this. When we're done recording, it'll be May 2nd. Um, I've been using this same account, paying for the with Libsyn, paying for this. It's been our podcast host for whenever I edit the show. I put it on there and it puts it on everything, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, whatever. Like I always say, we're on everything. Like follow, subscribe, whatever. Those are gone. I found out today they're gone. Um, Libsyn has got rid of our feed. They have closed our feed. Um, and it was very demoralizing. I mean, it's fun. We laugh at it because there's nothing else we can do at this point. But basically, 8 years of us talking and thousands of hours of podcasting potentially might be gone. Right now, our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel are the only two things that work. And I've spent the last 5 hours before we got on here setting up a new one. I'm working on it. Hopefully, we can get. But like those feeds that we've been on for years are now gone. Nothing we can do. It sucks. We can't tell because like I would say, 99% of our listeners are audio. Like we have very few views and listeners on YouTube or Twitch. Like we might have one or two people pop in on Twitch. We might get a handful of listeners on YouTube, but we were doing. I mean, I never talk about numbers, but we were averaging about 4,500 listeners a month, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't a lot, but that's a lot. That's amazing for us.
Oh yeah.
Um, and we have no way of telling them other than Facebook and Twitter, which most people don't. Like we have, I think,
Most of our listeners don't
100.
even follow us on like Facebook or Twitter, so it's like they're in the
Yeah, I
dark.
mean, to be fair, we don't really post a lot on there either. The only time we post is when the new episode comes
True.
up, or like to say, hey, we're gonna be on Twitch here in a little bit. So that's partially on us for not being active enough, but also, I mean, this is a fun thing that we do. We literally pay money every month to do this. And that's what's frustrating is like spend $20+ a month for this service, which I mean it's not a lot, but it's something. Over 8 years, that's a lot of fucking money. And basically what happened yeah, so I fucked up. It's my fault. But in like January or February, I went back and I kind of figured it out. Episode 81 of the podcast, and it was I think it was February or January of 2014. We were joking around about the PlayStation, the Super Bowl halftime show, from 2014, where Katy Perry performed at halftime, and I played a snippet of Fireworks by Katy Perry in that podcast, and we got a DMCA takedown for that on April 13th But unfortunately, I got the email for it, but the email went to my junk email, so I never saw it. I got a thing from basically the email, and it just said that they that from Lipson said that, hey, you got like just copied us into the email that this happened. We took that podcast down, and because you didn't take down, and this is the only email I got. I have no other warnings besides this one. Because you didn't take this down, we are now closing your channel at the end of the month. So today is the first. I go on our Lipson to just see, I don't just whatever, go on there and look. I'm like, okay, I go and look, and it says you have no account, or I have an account, but I don't have a channel with them. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I go on, I'm like, it wants me to create something new. I'm like, what the fuck is this going on? And I go through all the shit, find out. Katy Perry tried to kill the podcast, basically. And so yeah, so I've been I spent a lot of time googling around because, like I said, we've been using Lipson since, well, Jake set up the account originally, and I just took it over. And he set it all up for us, and then I took over, and just been doing that since the beginning. And yeah, so I had to like remember how to like update all, like make all new feeds for everything. Working on it. I've started up with a new. Come to find out, Gables, there's a lot of cheaper places that are better than Lipson. I'm not trying to talk shit about Lipson. Like I said, I fucked up. It's my bad. It's just crazy that over 7 years later, this happens.
Yeah.
I'm kind of pissed, really, because we had, most places give you 3 strikes and you're out. They
just
sent me an
basically
email
gave
saying,
you one email and just decided to delete everything.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I'm trying to, maybe they got another one I missed it. I don't know. But I went back and I looked. I can't find anything else besides this. I didn't delete. I went through my deleted file, my folder, and there's nothing in there from Lipson either. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. I'm in the process of setting up this new thing. I made new feeds, but these feeds will take time to basically be approved by like Apple and Spotify and Audible and all these places. Like I said, we're on everything. And the only downside with this is that they don't have all the same places we were on before. But they have most, and then a couple of new ones that the other ones didn't have. So yeah, that's pretty. It's been pretty demoralizing, pretty depressing. I'm hoping I have all of the Apple podcasts. I have all the podcasts downloaded on my computer via iTunes. So I'm hoping I can find a way to work, because I'm not a savvy computer guy at all. This shit barely runs. Like, my computer's making noises that I didn't even know. It's not built to do a lot, and we're just took me a lot of time just to figure out how to do the bare minimum of Twitch streaming, and then doing a video podcast. So yeah, so I'm working on that, and I'm trying to decide, because this is now the 3rd time, Gables, that we're gonna have
start from zero.
Yeah, so we started from 0 when we started the podcast initially.
Yep.
And then about 50 something episodes in, I can't remember exactly what it was, when we changed names. Jake accidentally deleted the instead of changing the name, he just deleted the fucking channel the first time. And then we changed names and deleted and lost all our followers. Didn't tell all the followers, hey, we're changing names. So they had no idea, and we changed it. We had to start all over again. And it took us years to get back to where we were, and we've far past what that was.
Yep.
And now we're starting all over again, with no way of telling people other than through Twitch and YouTube, which, like I said, 99.9% of our listeners don't follow, subscribe to, or look at. So I'm hoping there's a way to get that back. And I'm also it sucked because I put a lot of time into taking all those podcasts that were from the old channel, they're the first channel we did, bring them onto the second channel that we've been on for years now. Literally having to transfer all that shit over. It takes, a lot of time to upload onto that, and then type out the entire show notes for the show. It took me hours to do, and a lot of time and days to do. And now I'm going to do it all over again, but instead of doing 60 podcasts, I have 425 podcasts to do. So I'm trying to decide if it's worth going back and redoing that. Even if I can, I don't know if I can. But all those podcasts are on YouTube. They just might not be in our feed, which sucks. I'm not happy. Yeah. So it's pretty shitty. Um, yeah. So like I said, it's my fuck up. It's my bad. But it's just something that happened over 7 years ago. I didn't think to come to bite us in the ass. Um, now, but I mean that's just something that like that's the world we're in with. Like we that's been an issue with like a lot of big, that have millions of listeners and followers, shit like that. Um, they talk about like they're struggling with issues of DMCA takedowns and copyright strikes and shit like that. And every for years now, I stopped doing that a long time ago. Stopped using it because there's a handful of times I've used copyrighted music, put it on a podcast in the very beginning. It's because I was fuck around learning Audacity and it'd be funny to throw this in here. Um, that's come back to bite us in the ass all these years later. So now everything we use like we use with permission or it's free to use stuff. Um, so yeah. Hopefully people can find us. And hopefully maybe we'll get some new listeners out of it. I don't know, but it's just depressing, Like I said, 4,500 downloads every month. I'm super happy. Like I said, we don't do this. I mean, like we have 5 listeners. I'm fine with that. I think Gables and I would do this podcast. We could just do this without even streaming it or podcasting it. I think we just do it. But we love doing this. It's fun for us to do. Like I said, it costs us money, and we have full-time jobs. We have a lot of shit outside of work, outside of work to do. We pay for our own games.
Yep.
It's like now if people want to send us review copies of shit, I'm not gonna complain about it. PlayStation, if you want to send me a copy of Ratchet and Clank early, please do. Uh, I'm not gonna complain. I'll rave about your game whether I paid $70-$80 for it anyways. If you want to send me a free copy, and Gable's a free copy. And Capcom, if you want to send me a sex doll of Lady D from Resident Evil 8,
and it all comes full circle.
Then it's gonna be a full-on circle jerk, Gables. Is what's gonna be, because I'm gonna fly to you and we're gonna have a good old-fashioned threesome with that fucking sex doll.
No.
Oh, we're gonna do it. We don't have to look eye to eye. We can just it's gonna happen. We're not gonna cross streams or anything, but yeah. So that's where we're at. Like I said, I think uh, you know it's demoralizing a little bit, but we're gonna keep doing the show. It's not gonna change anything for us as far as doing the show, doing it weekly. But it's just gonna be kind of square one again. People are gonna like, oh wow, they have 400 and some odd episodes. They just started at 4. Like I uploaded the last 2 episodes. They should be up on some things. And next week I'll talk about. I'll give updates as far as like where we're at, where we're gonna be. Right now, we are not in everything. We are on some things. And then we're on Podbean if people use that. That's the service we're using now. And it's a little cheaper and it's actually way better for us. Like Libsyn, we're paying so much a month and getting 400 megabytes of space a month, which a lot of times we were going over, so we had to upgrade, we had to pay more, or we were getting close to. So with this new service, it's a little bit cheaper, and we don't have to. It's unlimited space, so that's fucking awesome. So when there's months where we do 6-7 podcasts, or we go 2 hours talking about nonsense, it's not going to kill us later on down the month. Or when E3 happens and we're recording 11 podcasts in 1 month or 6 podcasts in 1 week, we'll be fine there, which is awesome. And I wish I would have seen this stuff earlier. I wish I wasn't happening because of these circumstances, because I would, if I knew about this a long time ago, I would have switched this a long time ago. Like I said, I'm not trying to talk shit about Libsyn. It's whatever. I fucked up. It's my bad. But whatever. Other than that, Gables, it's been an okay week. Kind of sucked I had to work today. I was looking forward to sitting down playing some games today. It's been a long week. It's hot as fuck, Gables. So not hot. It's like 80s right now, and I still haven't got my spring clothes yet from work, so I have to wear pants and a long sleeve shirt every day to work. So that sucks. And our trucks don't have AC. Terrible, fucking terrible. And I drive on dirt roads all day, so you can't have the windows down. It's been ball soup city for the last week. And I'm too stubborn to turn the AC on, so it's fucking hot. I'm sweating right now, and then I got a fan going on over here. Hopefully it doesn't pick up in my audio, but it doesn't look like it is. But doing okay, work today, whatever. It's a long day, but it was funny though. Actually, I posted on our Twitter and our Facebook um, Junk Nerds Twitter and Facebook profiles, whatever, and about the show, and I retweeted it. And Jake, who was the co-founder of Drunk Nerds podcast, he's like, "What the fuck did you guys do to get in trouble now?" And I told him the circumstances. He's like, so Katy Perry listened to the podcast and she didn't like it. I'm like, yeah, basically. And I told him, like, hey, if we get sued, I'm throwing you under the bus because technically this was all your idea, and so you're the mastermind, and you left, you were on the podcast, and here we are. So it's really Jake's fault. So blame Jake, actually. Is really what I'm saying.
Hashtag blame Jake.
Hashtag blame Jake. That's gonna be our new thing. I'm gonna put that in here. Hashtag blame Jake. Where's hashtag? There it is. Blame Jake. There we go. I was gonna like make that trying to get that the trend, and like he's just gonna be like, what did I do? It's kind of like a couple weeks ago they had that big like the battle of the Joshes. Do you see this shit online?
The battle of the Joshes.
There's this fucking it's like it started as a joke online of these people like the one true Josh kind of thing of like God. People like only one like, and it's like someone started like there's like Facebook messaging group, but it's just like at the top it's just Josh because everybody in the group was named Josh. So they basically made like online flyers essentially of like there's gonna be a battle. The last man standing will be the one true Josh. And it just shows all these like people named Josh showing up to this like field with those like spaghetti noodles for like in the water, the pools and shit people use, like fighting with those.
Oh my God.
So, like all these Joshes getting that are fighting, and there's like some little kid one is really cute and funny, but yeah. I don't even know where I'm going with that, but that happened. That's pretty funny. Look that up. It's really charming. It's really cute.
Man.
In a pretty bleak world nowadays, it was a fun little thing to see. But speaking of making things trend, Gables, Terry fucking Crews. Star of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Was that fucking that White Girls? What was that movie with the
White
Wayne
Chicks?
Brothers? White Chicks, yes. Incredible. I love him. I'm a big fan of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but he's fucking hilarious in everything he's in. So he's he's a popular actor, been around for a long time. Love him. He just tweeted localize Mother 3. And that's all he posted on Twitter out of nowhere, April 30th. On at 1:17 p.m. So yeah, there's an article here I'm looking at from IGN here, so which means it's Friday, which means it's another week on with no news of Mother 3 coming to the West. It's been 15 years and 10 days since the launch in Japan, and India, and ideas of the localization have long felt like a pipe dream. Well, Terry Crews is trying to change that on Twitter. Crews left a simple and clear message for Nintendo, saying nothing besides localize Mother 3. While Crews wishes certainly won't sway Nintendo one way or another, it's already adding fuel to the hype train with dozens of folks voicing their approval for Mother 3. So it's funny, Gables. You sent the article to me about it, and I'm like, I think we should take credit for this. Is what I'm saying. If Mother 3 happens in the next 12 months, it's because of us. Because we're the ones that made the joke about how Reggie has Mother 3.
Yeah.
And then flash just a few weeks ago, Reggie says he has Mother 3. He's like, he has Mother 3 downloaded and it's in his backlog. Probably a joke, but whatever. And now we got Terry motherfucking Crews out here saying localize Mother 3. Yeah. He's a big, large man. He's like Jax from fucking Mortal Kombat. He can squish our heads with his bare fucking hands. I ain't fucking with that guy. So if everybody over there, if you don't want that to happen to you, look, I don't even go fuck about Earthbound. Not one fuck. But I don't want to piss off Terry Crews. So he's like Godzilla, basically. Like he'll go over there and fucking kill them all. Kill us all. All of us will be dead if we know this doesn't happen. So let's make this motherfucking thing happen. We got Earthbound Beginnings, like what, 6 years ago?
Yep.
And then that was it. And it sold extremely well on Wii U.
Yeah, it did.
On Wii U, Gables. Wii fucking U. It sold extremely well. I don't know what that means. Is it like 6 copies? Because that's like, we established before the podcast. We were joking around before the podcast that, like, who the fuck owns a Wii U besides you and I and 6 other people? And those 6 other people are Justin, who has 12.6 million Wii U's in his closet somewhere. This is a joke that we made for the podcast. And I'm starting to begin. So I'm thinking now, Justin has a closet full of just 12 point some odd million Wii U's, and he bought a copy of Earthbound Beginnings in every single one of them.
Either that, man, or he just opens
He
up
has
his.
3 daughters, and none of them. I'm sorry to cut you off. He has 3 daughters. None of them will go to college because he had to buy Earthbound Beginnings 12.6 million times.
Could you just imagine him just opening up his closet with just a whole bunch of his Wii U stuff just going through and just falling off the top shelf, and him just looking down right there, and you just have like this little vignette, not like a vignette, but like a little poster thing that he just crudely drawn of the letter, just posted right on the back of his thing. It's like, oh, soon they'll release the DLC.
This is how
I can finish it.
Treehouse Studios is still open to this day because of Justin buying multiple copies of those games.
He just has.
He's like, oh,
his head
the
down,
letter
like,
is 99 cents.
Poster, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, man, if only they release it on Switch.
Every Sunday, him and his family, they don't go to church. They just get dressed up and they sit in front of like this of Eli from Treefall Studios. Mm-hmm. We're going real deep into Treefall Studios jokes here, guys. So bear with us. It's a funny ass studio that we make fun of all the time. Not trying to be a dick, but their games are bad. But anyways, I just imagine him and his family get all dressed up and they just go to like the living room and there's just like a statue of Eli from the creator of Treefall Studios, really the only employee of Treefall Studios. And it's just like him, like with his arms out like this, and they just like pray to him every Sunday. And then like they talk about like they have like the instruction manual of the letter, and that's like their Bible. that's what I think of. This I don't know why
his kids are like playing toys or something like that instead of like regular toys, just the perplexing orbs.
Yeah. It's like, Daddy, we want to play Fortnite. No. This is a perplexing orb house.
You must
don't play that smut in this
orb.
house. That is not the maze. That is Fortnite.
What is it that you're playing? You're playing Super Mario Odyssey? No, we're fucking playing Pitter Pot. I think I just gave myself an aneurysm just thinking about that.
Oh my God, Gable's having like PTSD flashbacks of playing Pitter Pot.
You know how some war veterans get flashbacks of the traumatic events they've endured? Well, for some of us gamers, we have post-traumatic stress from past experiences of playing terrible games. So it's like, if you come across one game, especially if it's that one game that out of nowhere just absolutely just pisses you off, or you just get that familiar type of syndrome, it just gets you into that state. Oh, for me, for platformers, I gotta admit, man, Pitter Pot was just one of those types of experiences where it's like, I love 3D platformers. That was probably one of the worst ones I've ever played.
I'm so happy you lost that bet for Extra Life. So for people that don't know, because we're on new feeds now, there's a lot of deep jokes here we're making. Justin, my best friend of almost 30 years, was a podcast host with us for a few years. Treefall Studios is a really terrible studio. Don't support them. Well, I shouldn't say that. Their games are terrible. But Justin and I's names are on the credits because we did support them, and then we bought the game again. So that's a problem with us. And then Gables and I made a bet for Extra Life, which is the awesome video game charity that you shall support, and is really cool. That the loser that didn't make as much money had to play through the game Pitter Pot, which is a terrible 3D platformer, which Gables did, and then also not only beat the game but platinum the game.
I had to platinum it because the damn thing was tied into the end of the game.
He didn't have to. He just did it because he wanted to. Don't lie. So yeah, that to catch you up on some inside jokes of us. There you go for you new listeners, because let's face it, most of you are probably new listeners at this point because we're fucking screwed. Because goddamn fucking Katy Perry. I'm fucking red. I'm already red. I'm gonna be a goddamn fire. I'm gonna be like, baby, I'm a firework. I'm gonna be a goddamn firework by the end of this goddamn. My head's gonna explode, and Gables is gonna have a goddamn aneurysm because of goddamn Katy Perry and Pitter Pot. Fuck. Now we're gonna get DMCA takedown for being mean to Eli and Pitter Pot. Fuck. We're gonna have to start all over again for a fourth time. This is where we're at. But yeah. Anyways, we're talking about Mother 3.
We're talking about Mother 3, and all of a sudden it de-evolved into fucking Pitter Pot.
Talking shit about Pitter Pot, Treefall Studios, and Justin and his weird religion. That's just 5 people and Eli. I don't. This is what if this is your first time listening, this is just bear with us because this is what it's like every fucking week. I'm not gonna lie to you. Saturday night, I've been drinking. Gables is probably drinking We drink over there, Gables. You got water?
Oh yeah, I got a whole bunch of water.
It's vodka. It's vodka. He's lying to you. He puts it in a water bottle. I don't know, Gables. Well, I mean, like I said, I don't give a fuck about goddamn Earthbound, but it's stupid that it hasn't happened yet. What's your thought process on this whole situation now?
I just thought it was just fucking hilarious that Terry Crews, out of the blue, randomly, like, just posts a statement where it's like, localized Mother 3, and it's like, for one, I didn't even know he fucking played anything in regards to Nintendo. Second, it's like, I thought it was coincidental because it's like weeks ago we were talking about the whole joke and thing Mother 3 with Reggie, saying that he had it on his fucking Wii U. Reggie makes that tweet. We're like, oh, what the fuck is going on here? And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is like an ongoing escapade. So there's got to be something more involved now with this because it's like, it's just too coincidental to where, there's casual mentions of Mother 3. Granted, last week was like its anniversary of when it first came out, apparently.
15 years.
Yeah, it's been that long, but yeah, that whole thing was just kind of just funny in its own right. I mean, granted, I feel like the game should be localized, but I feel like Nintendo is definitely dancing around the release or subsequent re-release of the games because they don't want to go. They want to try to tiptoe along the lines because they want to try to figure out the best way to try to release this game without offending a lot of, I guess, offending a certain amount of people because there are different types of themes that would probably not be suitable for some people in regards to today's society in that regards. But there definitely did. Mother 3 in and of itself definitely does deal with a lot of dark themes, and they definitely deal with a lot of like things or concepts of like say with death, with like various like other types of topics. But at the same time, from what I've heard, from what I've personally have seen, it's actually a fairly good game in that regards. But
Yeah.
the only way that people can truly play Mother 3 right now is if you download a ROM and also the Game Boy Advance like emulator or whatsoever and the fan translated patch, which guys can pretty much go and search for. It's pretty much well known by this point. And if you truly want a guide or something for that game, if you want to go old school, go to starman.net because that site's been around forever. It's been around since the release of the original Earthbound on Super Nintendo. It's that old of a website, but it has been updated obviously to keep track of things in current day. I mean, there's just a lot of hardcore people on there nowadays, but granted, I am kind of wandering off with this thing too. But the fact being is, I'm glad that people are still talking about Mother 3. It's definitely a game I do have interest in playing eventually. If it comes out on Switch, it comes out on Switch. If not, then oh well. I can always just download the ROM and Nintendo can lose
I
money
hope
that
they
way.
just put it. I hope they put it out. And it's on Wii U, so only Justin can play it because he's the only person that still has their Wii U.
Could you just imagine people? No. Actually, this would be pretty hilarious if that did happen because the fucking price and the fucking scalpers would go through and buy up a lot of the used Wii U's, and it would probably be even more than what Nintendo initially fucking sold of the
the
console.
sa- the sales like it sells more because Brother 3's on it than it did in its entire life
That's
cycle.
probably, you know what? This is 2021. Anything can fucking happen at this point.
Anything's possible.
So it would not surprise me if that happened. But
Yeah, I kind of want that to happen now. I like it's like a fuck you. It would just be like we always joke about like Nintendo's just fucking with us at this point, and it's just like it'd be
the
funny to me if
biggest
they
troll
just
is
like
like, we have the 3
yeah
out, but it's on Wii U.
yeah they shadow drop it like at a Nintendo Direct, and it's like, oh, it's a Wii U only, or like you had to be like in the Nintendo 3DS, like the people, the early adopter ones, pro the program there when they put like 25 games, the only people that bought
Oh
it
yeah, I'm still getting guff
was
for
like
that shit
250.
because my little brother can't put two and two together that he can't buy Game Boy Advance games in the 3DS eShop. But when he tries to take my 3DS and stuff like that and look at the content, he sees them on my 3DS and he's like, "What the fuck's
Yeah,
going on?" True story.
exactly. Yeah, so that'd be funny if that's the only way they put it in there is by the early adopter program. I'm all for it. Just I mean, it's easy for me to say because if like they did that with like if PlayStation did that with like God of War Ragnarok, like you can only play it on PSP. I'm like, you fucking dicks. I'd be pissed, but I'd respect it, but I'd be pissed. It's like we made the sequel to the greatest game of all time.
But
It's
we
only on
put it on
PSP.
7 UMD discs.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta buy like it just comes in on a fucking pallet
It's
of
just
like
like
UMD
it's
discs.
like each world is like on a fucking separate UMD disc, and you try to put it in, try to install it, and it takes about fucking 10 minutes for the damn thing to install on the fucking memory
It's just
stick duo.
it's just Kratos smoking a cigarette for 12 minutes as they install the UMD disc.
Oh my god, that flashback.
That's a Metal Gear
Jesus
Solid 4 joke for
Christ.
people that don't know.
Oh man, I just got the biggest nostalgia thing for that. Oh, that was such a fucking hilarious thing back in the day.
God, what a yeah.
Watching
I love
Snake
like with
smoke.
yeah MGS4 and there was like no smoking like don't smoke fucking ads, not ads but like warnings in the thing as like you're waiting for him to install the next chapter and it's just him smoking a cigarette. It says don't
It was
smoke.
hilarious. Even in the game, you have a chain smoking monkey in a diaper.
Yes, that game is fucking one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah, I can't believe some of the shit that's in that game. It's like
That's
man,
awesome.
how is it my favorite game of all time? It's fucking weird. Um, wow, what the fuck are we talking about? I don't know what's
This
happening
Mother
anymore.
3 still,
We're
at the same time.
oh
I
yeah.
think this
Yeah.
topic's pretty much done, run through its
It
course.
wasn't really a topic. We just went 20 minutes about nothing. That's basically what we did. Let's get out of this goddamn hole we're in here and move on to some sadder news. Toys for Bob, the makers of they did the Spyro remaster or was it remaster remake? What it's remake trilogy,
Okay, yeah.
and then they did the Crash Bandicoot. They made Crash Bandicoot 4,
Mhm.
came out last year, and just recently, as of last month, got the next gen patch, and then also came the Switch. And we were just talking about how a couple weeks ago on the March MPDs shot from 65th to 15th. Just a combination of being on next gen consoles and also on Switch. Um, basically came out and said that kind of some weird messaging going on here about a tweet from Toys for Bob's Twitter account said that the studio is proud to support the development of Season 3 of Call of Duty Warzone and look forward to for more to come. However, the California-based Toys for Bob appears to have suffered staff exits as part of this shift. Character designer and illustrator Nicholas Cole, who worked at Toys for Bob up to January on Crash Bandicoot 4, and before that, the Spyro Reignited trilogy, tweeted, "It's an end of an era, but I wish my former coworkers uh, still with Toys for Bob all the best and what's ahead." And then everyone I interfaced with and worked along was let go. I'm very glad it's not a total shuttering. So it sounds like basically there's a game designer, Blake Malouf, I believe I say his name. He tweeted to say that he had left the studio and left on my own terms. I had been needing a change anyway, so this was to push my decision. Um, so basically, what's going on is it sounds like not 100% confirmed yet but it sounds like a lot of people from Toys for Bob, maybe not a lot, but some people from Toys for Bob have been laid off, and that Toys for Bob has been is now turning into a support studio for Call of Duty, and now we're at the point now where every studio, in some way or shape or form, is now working on Call of Duty, whether it's Warzone, the next ones for the franchise, in some way. Um, so I mean, we talked about this a couple months ago, where Vicarious Visions got not shut down, but
Mhm.
kind of they're gone now. They got molded into
Yep.
Blizzard to work on the
Yeah, to work on
Diablo.
Warcraft.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Warcraft. Yeah, and then I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
Diablo 2 remake
Warcraft.
or something as well. But yeah, so that's gone. So the people, those people are the ones that Vicarious Visions remade, did the Crash Bandicoot trilogy remake, and then also did the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake last year. All of which sold extremely well, and we kind of thought this was them bringing back. We thought, oh, we're getting Tony Hawk. It sold super well. It's a really good game. People love it. Um, cool, it's back. We were kind of expecting the same thing from what we got with Tony Hawk as we did with Crash Bandicoot, where we
Mm.
brought the trilogy. People loved it. Sold super well. We got a fourth one out of it. It sold super. Sounds like it sold. Maybe I don't know. I don't should say super well. We don't know what the sales are, but it sold well enough that it charted for months on end, and sold well enough that coming out on Switch and next gen, it shot up 50 spots in the month of March to be charted again on MPD, um, and now sounds like it's gone. I mean, like I said, there was not 100%
Yeah.
confirmation about this, but a lot of people left, and there's possible layoffs. So I don't know. I mean, it's just disappointing. I mean, I'm like I said, this is like much like Mario 3. I played the Crash trilogy. I loved Crash Bandicoot 2 as a kid. Didn't really connect with me, then, but I can see why it's loved. It's so loved, and people seem to like Crash fans, and a lot of people in general like Crash Bandicoot 4 a lot. So it's just it's sad to see that. You know, basically, I mean, I know it's a big company, but it's like this IP that came back from the dead, sold
Mm-hmm.
really really well, was supported. Like we always say, vote with your wallet. People voted with their wallet and bought the game,
But
and
this, yeah.
they kind of get the rope pulled out from what was it? The rope pulled out from underneath them or whatever. So I mean, I don't know, Gables. You're the bigger fan of this? I think you said you bought Crash 4 on Switch not too long ago, if I remember correctly.
Not Crash 4.
Oh,
I didn't buy Crash 4 on Switch. I mean, no, not yet at least.
oh, I'm
But what
sorry. I
that
thought you did.
tells but what that tells me is like, yeah, I should buy Crash 4 sooner or later. But at the same time, it just verifies what we've known for quite a long while. Is like, unless it's something like World of Warcraft or Call of Duty or something like that. I mean, even if you're successful, even if you're a development studio that's developing under Activision Blizzard and you're successful in selling like games that gamers actually want to go through and play that are from your classic archives, like say Tony Hawk's Pro Skater and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, even despite all of those games quintessentially being successful, unless it's not producing Call of Duty or World of Warcraft like money, they're going to be fucking cut. I mean, that is so fucking stupid. That honestly is fucking stupid in and of itself. From a business sense, it doesn't make sense, in my honest opinion. You want that diversity in regards to wanting to drive in more revenue from a vast amount of people instead of just the core people that just want to play Call of Duty or anything that Blizzard has in their back catalog studios. But it is sad. It definitely is depressing to see like more people leaving Toys for Bob. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, hell, I played through the remakes of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 last year when that one went through and released. It was fairly awesome because it was very reminiscent of the style and like the foray of the original two games. I loved it. I went through both of those like career modes for both of those versions and stuff like that, like fairly quickly, honestly. And I got all the secret tapes, got this and that. I didn't get the platinum or anything for that version because of the grind it would have
Yeah,
took for
I heard it takes
getting
like
the
a
online
hundred
stuff.
hours to get
Yeah,
the.
because at that point, if I've already got done with the single player stuff and the game was known for single player stuff anyway, then I'm not going to venture on and do the fucking multiplayer stuff if it's going to be just monotonous bullshit. I mean, hell, I'm through with that monotonous bullshit for online grinding. But when it comes to like the games of the Crash Bandicoot games, I mean, I've enjoyed playing the Crash Bandicoot remakes. I mean, they're hard as hell. I mean, I have the digital copies of the Crash Insane trilogy and like Spyro Reignited stuff. I've gotten actually the physical versions on Switch through like pre-owned for not just the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, but also the Crash Team Racing stuff. But yeah, it's like it just makes me appreciate the work that Toys for Bob and what Vicarious Visions did in regards to bringing these classic franchises back from the dead and actually satisfying a core of gamers that grew up playing this game, and alongside bringing in new gamers into the foray that actually wanted to go through and experience something from the past without having to go back to the past in order to try to play a lot of them. So it's like, I know on my foray, I am definitely going to go forth and get Crash 4 the next time I get paid or something. If it's like on the Switch, fine. If it's on the PS4, fine. It's just I want to enjoy these cluster of games that Vicarious Visions and Toys for Bob made for all of us for the past couple of years and stuff, and enjoy them for what they are. Because quite honestly, I don't expect Activision to even go through and continue on providing these type of experiences because they're more concerned with one or two, just a handful of franchises anyway. So it's just that one thing where it's like, you know what, fuck Call of Duty. That's
Yeah,
what I gotta say.
yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, it's just a bummer. It's just sad part about big business sometimes. Um, Tens of millions isn't enough. They want the hundreds of millions and the
Hundreds of
billions,
millions.
which it's business. I get it, but yeah, it's just just kind of it's upsetting when the business end of stuff um, rears its ugly head. But moving on here, so we kind of got like a block of some Sony news here to talk about. There was a state of play um, on Thursday. It was a Ratchet and Clank mostly state of play. Like it was like 22 minutes, I think it was. Um, they said they were going to talk about a couple indie games and then uh, Ratchet and Clank, and that's all it was. I started watching it. I'm like, I'm already really excited about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I don't need to see any more about it. I don't want to know any more about that game. June 11th, I'm just gonna play the fuck out of that game when it comes out. Um, but a couple things we got out of it. We got a release date for the Subnautica sequel. I think it's like May 14th, and then I think it's like Below Zero is what it's called. Um, and then Among Us is officially coming to PlayStation later this year.
Mm-hmm.
They announced that there is going to be a Ratchet and Clank costume and pet costume you can get when you buy it exclusively on PlayStation. Um, so I think Among Us came out earlier this year when we had the Nintendo Direct,
Yeah.
maybe it was a Nindy Direct. It shadow dropped on Switch. So it's on Switch. It's $5. It's on Steam. It's been on Steam. This is 2018. Obviously, everybody knows. Game blew up last year, last summer or fall. We both played it on a gamer night together with the Talk Ship
Yep.
guys, and I think we all had a blast with it. I really enjoyed the game. I had a lot of fun with it. And then also on top of that, Fall Guys, which they announced a few months back that they're coming to, in that same direct, they announced that they're coming to Switch, and they also announced not too long ago that they're coming to Xbox this summer. They've said that's not going to happen. We don't have a time window now, but it's not going to be summer 2021. But the reason why is now that they're going to have crossplay available on day and date for everything, all the platforms it's on um, when it does come out. So yeah, so obviously that was a PS Plus game in I think like August of last year, but it launched on Steam day and date, but they didn't have they still don't have crossplay. Now it's sometime, I don't know, I shouldn't say later this year, but presumably sometime probably late this year or early next year that'll happen. So two kind of games that kind of like blew up at the same time, but I feel like they're kind of in the same spot where like they both have a big audience, but it's not like the thing everybody's talking about anymore. I'm wondering like where these franchises we were talking about a while back about how cool it would be if Among Us came to platforms. I feel like maybe that fad is kind of over. That like I'm like, oh, it'd be great if I could just sit on my couch, get on a party chat with everybody on PlayStation or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and just chat with all my friends and play this game and have a good time. Because that's all Because it's not a fun game to play by yourself. I tried it. It's not very fun.
No.
You want to play with your friends and talk shit to your friends and all that shit. Um, and Fall Guys was like a really cool game that I had fun with, and then fell off after. It was a cool like junk food type of game where you play it. I played it for a couple hours, handful of hours, and after like a week or two, I just fell off of it. But maybe this is a good way to revitalize it, and also like these things aren't dead, but they're just not what they were, last 7-8 months ago. What's your thoughts on all this news?
Well, I thought it was interesting that the release date for Among Us for the PS, I don't know, for the PS5 or
It's
whatsoever.
gonna be 4 and 5.
Okay, for 4 and 5, going to be later on this year. I would have thought that for a game of its magnitude and stuff, it would have been released almost as soon as possible in that regards, like a stealth drop for that day.
I
I
wonder if
mean,
maybe
forgot.
because it came to Switch earlier, maybe they have like an exclusivity deal with Switch or something.
Yeah, you know what? It must be because of either some sort of embargo, possibly with either Nintendo or with Microsoft,
No,
because I know Among Us is on the Xbox console as well.
no.
But
It's on Game Pass for PC.
Game Pass for PC. Okay,
Yes, yeah. So
okay, so it's
the
not
only
officially
console's
on
on
Series
Switch. It's
X.
kind of like how Hades came out last September and it's still only on Switch and PC.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. Other than that, the Subnautica stuff, yeah, it is what it is, though. Not really into Subnautica of like any type right at this moment in time.
No,
But Fall Guys, that whole delay and stuff for crossplay. I mean, that's exciting. I mean, that's fair enough. The reason why to delay it because it feels like if you're a third party company and you're releasing an online multiplayer style game, you have to have crossplay
yeah,
because that's the standard in that regards for the industry at this point. You If you release a third-party game and you have an online multiplayer features, and it's just like one, or you're separating your community inside of four chunks, which is like PC, Xbox, like Nintendo's like online service or PlayStation's
But
online
that doesn't include
service.
like if you're on Epic or Steam. So
Yeah,
that's a whole
exactly. If
nother or godforsaken fucking Stadia.
oh my god, yeah, good luck with Stadia. But yeah, everything all interconnected. Best way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, my big thing though is like crossplay or progression. That's like I would to me that's more valuable. I shouldn't say more valuable, but to me like I if I buy money like with like Fortnite, if I buy a bunch of V-Bucks on
Yep.
PlayStation 5, I can go over to my Switch and play it on Switch if I want to play on Switch, and my shit transfers over. That's my big thing because a lot of the games like like they want you to buy shit, buy costumes and all that, but it sucks if you want to. Oh, my friends are playing on Switch and or whatever, and it's like I want to be able to chat with them or whatever, blah blah. It's like, oh well, I have to start over from the beginning with I have lots of my experience, and I don't have any of my shit. And then yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I that stuff kind of bothers me when we don't have like cross progression. I think is just as important as crossplay. Maybe
Absolutely.
not just as, but I think it's important. Um, but moving on, here's some other news. Kind of sticking with Nintendo for the rest of our news here. So tell you what, I mean, we talked about a few weeks ago. Uh, PlayStation 5 is now the fastest selling console in history in the first 5 months. Now we have an actual sales data as of March 31st of this year. PlayStation 5 has sold 7.8 million units, which has outpaced the previous record holder of PS4 that has sold 7.6 million units in that time frame, which is crazy to think because they ship more, but it's like you would think the way everything's going, how hard it is to get one. Like they've shipped 3 million, but it just shows you how big the how we. I think COVID obviously has affected it from making it. Also the semiconductor shortage, but also I think people. We talk about games for the last 13 months have spiked because there's no concerts, you can't go to sports events, you can't go to movie theaters. Gaming and streaming movies is all we got. Um, so we've seen that, and then also just kind of the buzz of how well PlayStation did this last generation. All that kind of combination of things. I think the real kind of interesting because they were talking about this is all talking about their report. Nintendo has their end of the fiscal year report on May 6th, so we'll talk about that next week. I'm looking forward to that. I always like the quarterly reports because they give out um, super detailed information on sales, which is fun. Like they break down all their games, which I love kind of looking at that. But from this, from the financial results, they're talking about it's on record pace, blah blah. Um, so as part of its outlook for fiscal 2021, Sony highlighted a number of positive and negative indicators for operating profits. For example, it expects the profitability of the PS5 hardware to improve over the next year. Alongside that, the company also noted that it expects to see an increase in revenue from first-party titles specifically compared to fiscal 2021, or I'm sorry, fiscal 2020. That is notable because Sony had a strong 2020 with massive game launches on the PS4 with a huge install base. Sony's fiscal 2021, which runs through March 2022, is going to deliver even more revenue for the first-party games. That means Sony has some big releases. So compared to fiscal year 2020, which runs from April 1st of 2020 to March 31st, March 31st, they released Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Predator Hunting Ground, Sackboy Big Adventure, Last of Us Part 2, Patapon 2 Remastered, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Demon Souls, and Destruction All-Stars. So obviously the big ones, Ghost of Tsushima itself sold 6.5 million. Miles Morales has well surpassed that. And Last of Us Part 2 has also, I think, officially become like the second highest selling PlayStation exclusive game of all time. First party game behind Spider-Man 2018. So, we don't know. I don't think we have sales numbers for Demon Souls, but I imagine being a launch game, probably selling pretty well. And then we've talked about Miles Morales is already one of the highest selling games of the year over the last 12 months, and it's only been out for 6. So yeah, so continue on for this article here. This is from VentureBeat, by the way. That's a stack roster. So here's some details. Ghost of Tsushima sold 6.5 million copies as of March, and Last of Us
Mm.
Part 2 and Miles Morales have sold even better, at least in the United States. These are massive blockbusters matching just those three games would prove tough for Sony's 2021 lineup, and that's before you count games like Demon's Souls and Sackboy. So, I mean, obviously not to the pedigree of those, but nothing. Um, so far, this since April 1st, they've released MLB The Show, Returnal. We know about Ratchet and Clank, and then Horizon and God of War 2 are scheduled for this year. Obviously, we know God of War 2 probably not going to happen. Horizon, coin flip if that's going to happen. So that says they got some big shit planned for us. The next 11 months of going through March 31st. I imagine I wouldn't be shocked if God of War 2 makes it early next year, but we're talking maybe a month or two on the market at most, and then Horizon sometime maybe this year. But yeah, I mean, and they also talk about they plan on spending doubling how much they're putting into first party titles over the next 12 months. So I don't give us hearing all this. What's your thoughts on kind of what to expect from PlayStation the next 12 months?
Hmm. What to expect from PlayStation from the next 12 months? Hmm. Well, honestly, it's a little bit more straightforward. We're going to be expecting a lot more, probably a lot more first party content than we are accustomed to seeing from Sony, especially over the past 4 years. I would probably think that we probably will be seeing more successful sales in regards to some of their first party content, especially if, Horizon, Horizon Zero, don't, not just that Horizon
Forbidden
2 and
West.
stuff. Yeah. Forbidden West and stuff, when that eventually does come out by the end of this year. But from what I've been seeing in regards to some of the first party content, whether it be Demon Souls or Miles Morales, or even like this past week with the release of Returnal, and it's seeing a lot of favorable reviews in that regards. I mean, that's definitely a good tip in the right direction of where at the leather sales will be going. And not to mention, with Ratchet and Clank coming out this June, from the initial state of play stuff and the footage I initially saw from all that, it definitely looks like it's going to impress. There's a lot of good
Mm.
aspects that they took from the 2016 game and they just implemented it. It just looks prettier. There's a lot of interesting mechanics, a lot more like interesting gimmicks in regards to a whole bunch of like how this game will progress. But it's just going to be more in regards to the quantity of first party games in the next 12 months. That's basically
Yeah,
what it's going to feel like.
yeah. I'm just wondering what's possibly out there because I don't. I mean, like I said, Last of Us Part 2, second highest selling first party PlayStation game of all time. Miles Morales, not too far behind that, probably top five at this point. I don't. I think Horizon it's gonna be on PS5 and PS4. There's more
Oh,
of
yeah.
those consoles out there than there was when those games came out, obviously. But I don't see those games. I don't see as much as I love Horizon. As my game of the year 2017, um, and one of my five or six top games of this last generation. I don't see it doing those numbers at all. I mean, you're talking about Spider-Man as an IP is way more popular than Horizon will ever be.
Yep.
Last of Us is probably the same, at least as of right now. Um, so yeah, I don't think that's gonna get anywhere near those numbers. I think it'll do better than Ghost of Tsushima. No disrespect to Ghost of Tsushima, I love that game as well. But I mean, this is a sequel. We got new consoles. It's gonna it's gonna do better. I
So
think.
my question in regards to that, they released the sales numbers for every individual game with their first party thing for the PS4, PS5.
They they,
That's sure.
they don't do that. Like, that's what's frustrating is like it's so weird. Like Nintendo doesn't give out digital sales, like when we do MPDs, but they give out the most specific to like the they'll do like this game is sold 20.81 million, but we never hear about sale unless it's awesome. We don't know the numbers. So like I said, Ghost of Tsushima we know 6.5. Um,
Yeah, because they shared 6.5, but yeah,
yeah,
we don't
like
know like
Horizon
how
they
well The Last of Us Part 2 sold
Well,
or
Horizons
what.
we know is sold in like the like 12 to 16 million area. Because I know
Okay.
Spider-Man was the number one. It's around 20 something million,
Okay.
20 like low 20 million, somewhere around there. So it's somewhere up there, probably in the 15 to 20 million area. Last of Us Part Two is. You got to think Miles Morales probably around the 10 million area, give or take, obviously. Um, but yeah, I'm just yeah. I wish more people were. I talk about this every time, every quarter when Nintendo talks about their numbers. I wish everybody did it because I think it's fascinating. Because the only time you hear about from Nintendo, Xbox, anybody, EA, anybody else, the only time you hear about how is like when things are doing super well. Um,
Well, that's very true. Case in point, when Nintendo released a lot of the sales data for a lot of the most popular Switch games, or some that they had released,
yeah,
that was like months back.
I started. So I just got an email from uh, that our account Spotify has approved us, so now we will be on Spotify. So look us up on Spotify.
Nice.
Yes,
So yeah, there we
we're,
go.
we're in more places now than we were an hour ago. Um, but yeah. So I just I don't know. Maybe this is just like fluff for the stockholders to like give some positivity. But I mean, last year was an awesome year for them. They put out Last of Us Part Two that sold, like I said, super duper well. Um, Ghost of Tsushima doing awesome numbers for a brand new IP. Um, but yeah, that tells me also that probably God of War 2, if it does make this fiscal year, will probably be cross generation. Because I mean
Yeah,
that's another thing. You got like Returnal and Ratchet are two big launches for them, but they're on PS5 only. Demon Souls PS5 only. So you got to keep that in mind. Maybe they're thinking these games will continue to be like continues to sell. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But Gables, that's gonna wrap it up for the news part of the show. Let's jump into what we've been playing. I'm gonna go. I'll make it real fast. I'm sorry. I just want to talk about we both played one game in common, but you played it more than I.
all
So
right.
we'll save that for the end. But the two games I've been playing, I beat two games this week on Xbox via Xbox Game Pass. People don't remember, but I got an Xbox Series S, and it came with 3 months of Game Pass. Um, I talked a lot about Outriders last week.
Right.
Played the shit out of that. End up waking up Saturday morning or Sunday morning after we recorded last Saturday, and I beat it like 2 hours later. So uh, I really really enjoy that game. It's a fucking blast. It's a Gears of War quasi live service game, but not a live service game. And the yeah, it's a really great game. If, people don't, it's awesome. If you like Gears of War, but you also like live service like games, but you don't like the having to grind and looter shooter shit. If you don't want to do all that stuff, you don't have to like this game. You don't have to do that. It's amazing.
Right.
It's awesome.
Right.
I love that. That's the key reason I really really liked it more than I would any like a Division or Destiny or anything like that. Another game I've been playing, and I ended up beating today actually, is a game called The Medium.
The medium.
This
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, so this game is the only right as of right now the only game on Xbox that you can only play on the Series S, Series X. It's not on. It's the only game that is out that's exclusive to the new consoles of Xbox. This is made by Blooper Team. These guys made Blair Witch Project, the video game, and Layers of Fear. Um, so they do scary games basically. So this is a big change for them. Not really a big change, but it's a change where those games were first person, kind of like Outlast style games where you just walk around, you gotta solve puzzles, and you can't fight. All you can do basically is run if something happens. This is a third person game, and super impressive, I think, as far as how it works. So, like you play as a character called Marianne, and she's like adopted. Like I'm assuming this guy just like basically like this is like the very beginning of the game. She's going to say goodbye to like basically her adoptive father, who
Right.
runs a funeral home, and she's like putting him to rest basically. And she gets a phone call saying go find Thomas at the Niva Resort, and this takes place in Poland in the 90s, by the way. And so you basically it's got tank controls. It's like a third person game, like a Resident Evil style, but there's no combat or anything like that. It's kind of like a Layers Fear but third person version with tank controls.
Right.
A lot of camera cuts, stuff like that. Uh, and you go to this resort. But there's like there's the Nevo massacre where but there's all rumors. Nobody really understands what happened. Something happened here, and it was like there's affordable resort for people that can go. It kind of deals with like some of the shit that happened in Poland, which that was kind of fascinating. Like, you find like letters or like you find postcards or whatever, people talking about great this place is, or news clippings about like what happened. And you start to like figure out what happened at this place. But the key thing is like Marianne, like there's a huge chunk of her life she doesn't understand, and like if you want the truth, come to the resort. She gets that phone call. It's like really weird. She goes there. This place has been abandoned for years. Um, and you go through, and it's just like exploring. It's hard to talk about because you don't want to talk story wise because it's pretty much a story based game. But I think what's really cool and fascinating about it is just like I said, like learning what happened, and also they kind of deal with like real life, like some of the shit that was going on in Poland in this time frame, and like even like I think this resort, like all this shit happened to this resort in the 70s. So like talking about the backlash of World War II, and they even make a reference. They don't call him. They don't refer to him by name, but they make a reference to Hitler at one point in the game, which via a postcard, or not postcard, but a news clipping. Um, but it's just like kind of learning what happened at this place, but also you're learning like what happened with Marianne. Who Marianne is like, she's a medium. She has these power like supernatural powers where she can um, basically has like different realities she goes in, and it's really cool. Is like it splits it like almost like co-op kind of way where like not, but it's not co-op, but like it splits down the middle or side or from the side vertically or horizontally, and like you're walking through this world like so it's like walking through this abandoned place, but also there's like this world, this weird like scary underworld type situation, and it's like but so you have to like solve puzzles where like she has like this split reality she lives in,
Mm.
and like in one world like the alternate reality where everything's gone like is like scary and like you're basically it looks like I'm kind of like a hell essentially, but it's not hell. um like you could we gotta work like together, like we're like okay the stairs are broken in this reality, but you can have an out of body, it's like an out of body experience where you like hold the button down and you break apart, and now you're solely in this reality, but you can only be in there for so long before you get shot back to your body. um, and you can solve things like you can do things to kind of affect the real world, or you can go places you couldn't go and like find things or solve like I said solve puzzles stuff like that. But I think the real like cool parts about obviously like the gameplay, it's the puzzles are pretty simplistic. They're not gonna like break your brain. It's very straightforward. There are like little side things you can find throughout, like give more detail in the background if that's what you're interested in. But it's like the story is more about Marianne. Like she wants to figure out what happened to her, why, like, like what happened to her family, why she can't remember this stuff. It's all a story about like her figuring these things out, and like figure also while you're at it, figuring out what happened uh, to this resort you're in. But at the same time, you're also being chased by this creature, and he can actually like chase you through realities. And some of that stuff is kind of it's like you have to like sneak past him, but it's not very fun. Really, it's kind of
Mm.
simplistic. It's just more about like being patient more than anything. It's like you don't want to like, you just kind of he has a pattern. Just fall, like you might die a couple times, but it's like all right, fun. Like that's the biggest complaints I really have is like the checkpointing is bad. We have to replace full sections sometimes, like 2-3 minutes of gameplay. So not like 15-20 minutes worth, but like enough where it's like there's not any action going. You're just literally walking through a section to get to that
Oh.
section to do this 20-30 second thing over again. If you fuck up, you gotta do the whole thing. It's like it's very frustrating when you die 2-3 times, or you fuck up and you gotta do the whole part over again. But and like it also has like a run button, which is an insult to running, um, where you like it's like like when you're walking up the parking lot to the grocery store and you get to like the
Yeah.
crosswalk, and like a car lets you go and you kind of do that fake hustle run thing, but you're not really going any faster, but you're just like your body's working harder to make it look like you're going faster. That's what the run button is in this game. It's just like it's a fake hustle. It's like I'm moving my arms and my legs a little harder than I was before, but I'm not actually moving any faster. And like that's really what it is. Um, but I don't know. I mean, like, this game isn't like a like I'm like I think it's like a $40 game if you want to buy it. If you have an Xbox Series S or X. Um, but I mean, like I said, it's on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass launch day one. I like it quite a bit actually. Like some of that's kind of burned out on this horror, this kind of stuff. I've talked about this before. Like even like Game of Generation, like Outlast was like fucking phenomenal, and it's like Until Dawn, fucking phenomenal. And I feel like I've been chasing that dragon, uh, essentially of like trying to find that next like game that's like that. And there's so few and far between. Like we got like Oxenfree, Evil Within 1 and 2, Resident Evil 7, and stuff like that. Like kind of like it kind of fills that like that Dead Space, Outlast niche that I've been wanting. And I feel like the Medium does a really good job of doing that. Like I said, it's like it took me about 7 hours to beat. It's not super duper long. Um, it's like it's you're not gonna like spend. There's no real combat. There's no combat in this game. There's the puzzles, like I said, are dumb, pretty easy to solve. So it's really just like you going along with the story. But I was really intrigued by the story. I like the voice acting is really good. I think it has I want to say Laura Bailey is the voice actress of Mary Ann, but I feel that's wrong. Troy Baker actually plays the monster and one of the characters in the game, which is awesome. He's from everything. He's like an Uncharted. He's been in Call of Duty. He's been, I think he's in Bioshock Infinite. I want to look up Mary Ann, the Medium. I want voice actor because I recognize the voice. Oh, it's Kelly Burke. Okay, I was wrong.
Kelly
I'm
Burke,
sorry.
okay.
So I know where do I know her from? I'm sorry. I'm derailing the show, but I want to look this up real fast. IMDb page. We're looking it up because I recognize that voice and I want to know where I've heard her from. Oh, she's been in. I don't know if this is the same Kelly Burke. It says, oh yeah, this is her. The Medium. Where the fuck do I know her from? She's been in a lot of stuff. I just don't know her voice. She's in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, Justice League, The Mummy. I don't know where the fuck I heard her voice from, but I recognize the voice, but she's been in a lot of stuff. She's in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm sorry to derail it, but yeah, anyways, I liked her a lot. I thought it was Laura Bailey. I apologize. But yeah, I like this game a lot. It's like Outriders and this game are like perfect, like those perfect 7 or 8 like kind of games. Where it's just like you just kind of just play these games, have a good time. It's like, am I gonna be talking about these games 5 years from now? No. Am I gonna be talking about these games 2-3 months from now? No. But it's like in the moment, I had a blast with these games. Perfect kind of like I talk about like these are the games I've been needing for the last few months, like where I've been in that gaming slump. I'm just not really playing anything. Nothing's really tickling my fancy. Nothing's really grabbing me. And these two games the last week and a half or so really grabbed me. Really enjoyed them. And it's like just one more reason to have Game Pass. And it's like, if you don't have like Outriders, like I said, great game. Check it out. Medium. If you have an Xbox Series S or X, it's fuck you probably have Game Pass in. Play that fucking game. But that's all I've been playing. Other than one other game, which we'll get to at the end. But Gables, what have you been playing?
All right, so there have been a couple of games that I have been playing. I finished up the rest of Ratchet and Clank from 2016. That game, in and of itself, I feel is relatively good. There's a lot of variety in regards to a lot of the levels that are presented. Each world that you go across has a lot of different hidden collectibles, has a lot of different spots, and that actually forces and encourages you to come back with other power ups that you've earned later on throughout the game. So, for example, there will be times where if you don't have like a specific item, like say the gravity boots or something like that, where you can walk on the metallic like surfaces and stuff to get to like a specific hidden section that you couldn't before, you'd have to get the item like later on or some when it becomes available. So you have like backtracking in that regards. But I love the creativity in regards to the different worlds that were available. I also thought that it was kind of funny going through the all the hoverboard courses and stuff like that. The one on Railgar and the other one like on Kalibo 3. Both of them, both of them, if you could beat them under a specific time and stuff like that, you can actually pop a couple, like a pop a trophy or something like that. Like I think the one on Railgar was like under a minute and like something, like a minute and 30 or whatever. And then like the one on Kalibo 3 was like under 2 minutes and 5 seconds or something of that sort. But I spent a hell of a lot of time just playing this game in general. From start to finish, I played through the game. I enjoyed what I played through. I mean, the game was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be, especially towards the end of the game where it felt like I kept getting stronger, but at the same time, I felt like I was vulnerable like I was from the start of the game. Because a lot of the leveling up system that was presented, you could quintessentially leveled up Ratchet as a character in terms of his health, and also in terms of the experience points for his weapons. But I ended up going my entire run without maximizing all of my weapons, and especially not Ratchet himself. I kind of question in regards to the EXP stuff in regards to maximizing the experience of Ratchet's health in general, because that could have been like substituted in terms of like maybe picking up a couple of permanent like health power ups in that regards instead of like a leveling up system. In my honest opinion, if they wanted to stick with a leveling system, that would have been better suited with just the weapons in and of itself, because it felt awesome progressing with the weapon like the weapon level ups and stuff that you'll get incremental little boosts and stuff like say 10% like to damage or the weapon will evolve or something to an extent to where say if you have a homing the homing missile gun that you have, it would start off with one missile, but if you level it up progressively it'll expand to like maybe a cluster of missiles and stuff like that. The first initial big missile hits and then all of a sudden it just explodes to multiple different missiles and takes out a lot of different enemies. Going through the mechanics of a lot of different weapons was fun, and also experimenting what worked with what. Like for example, I used a lot of the Groovatron. The Groovatron was hilarious because it's like you could actually go and make certain NPCs dance without
Yeah.
even realizing it. Like Big Al or something, you would actually see him dance a little bit, and then like even like a lot of the bosses, you could actually use it on some of the bosses. Like say like Mrs. Zircon was one, and then like the Snaggle Beast and stuff. You can make him dance and do all this other stuff. I think one of the more hilarious ones was like the big old like menacing like Drek robot guys and stuff like that. You could just do the Groovatron and just start doing the robot, and even like tanks, like any of the tanks, and just start like doing the moonwalk and stuff with the little gravity stuff. It was just funny, whimsical type of stuff. It was definitely the kind of game I wanted to play through at that point in time. Granted, I used to play through plenty of 3D platformers back when I was a teen, when the 64 was prevalent in that regards. But with this game, it felt like a return to form, and I also loved a lot of the references to the past Ratchet and Clank games in the series. Because quintessentially, I played through this game not once but twice, and I got the platinum trophy for it. So I 100% completed Ratchet and Clank 2016. What I honestly loved in regards to the referencing of the past games, after you beat the game the first time, you can go back and start the challenging playthrough where you can actually go through and maximize the rest of your weapon tree, which I didn't know this up until I started challenge mode. That I was just realizing, okay, I've got my weapons at the level 5. Why didn't I get my trophy things unblocked? And it then once I got out of the challenge mode, it actually says it's like, oh, in order for you to maximize this and that, you have to be on the challenge mode. So they have you play through the game originally, Insomniac does, but you can't maximize everything until you go through the game again on challenge mode. But the difference is you get to retain the weapons that you have. As a matter of fact, if you collected all the holo cards, you could unlock the Omega versions of the weapons, the best form of those weapons from the get go, if you go through and collect enough bolts for that. Now, during my first playthrough, I collected all the holo cards, which got me a whole bunch of different boosts from collecting, ironically enough, collecting more holo cards and also getting the raritanium stuff, and also in regards to getting like a whole bunch of different bolts. I collected all the golden bolts. The golden bolts were awesome because they allowed me to go into this thing actually has a cheat menu, right? Where you can toggle on and off invincibility and also an infinite ammo if you wanted to, as well as the game speed. I ended up using the aspect for the infinite health because there were some aspects of the game which I did not want to like I just basically want to go to the second playthrough and just enjoy it how I want it. So I just turned on the infinite health and stuff. I realized as soon as you turn on the infinite ammo and you try to level up the weapons won't level up. So I didn't use a lot of the infinite ammo for the second playthrough with challenge mode. So I had that turned off. It took me some time, but I found an exploit inside of one of the worlds, inside of Kerwin actually. It's before you save the mayor that eventually gives you that mission, that infobot to try to save his nephew. I think it's like his nephew by the name of Skids McMarks or Skid McMarks. I know. As soon as I heard the name, I'm like Skid McMarks. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh man, I love I just loved the humor in regards to Insomniac when they did the original Ratchet and Clank games. But man, yeah, that name would just threw me off. But no, what happens is when you go to Kerwin the first time, you have to face off against a swarm of all these robots and this and that. So obviously, I was just kind of screwing around a little bit. I was using the Groovatron to just use on because it has a trophy that pops up where you have to use the Groovatron on every single enemy in that game, which isn't too bad, honestly. There's a select amount of enemies. There are some that are obscure that you might not think, oh, okay, maybe they'll dance or something like that. But yeah, they end up having like dance, like animation and this and that. But I looked up on the video, and there was a way where you could maximize the health and actually go and farm a lot of the Raritarium and also the freaking holo cards if you choose to. So there's this like opening, right? And there's this opening dome sort of thing that you go into. But at the left side of it, you see this tall tree, right, that you can actually jump. And there's just like this little gap. There's this little gap at the corner and stuff. And you have this
Hmm.
like little like cover and stuff in the top row. But you could jump it in a specific way where if you kept tapping the X button, you'll eventually trigger like a noise that you just got hurt, but it'll shoot you up on top of the roof. And you could actually navigate around to a specific extent where if you walk around outside of the environment and you go to the specific spawn point where the alien spaceships are popping up, you can actually equip the Rhino as well as manipulate the game speed, and you'll keep on consistently killing the spaceship, and it rewards you with bolts and all sorts of different things
Hmm.
after killing them. So I turned on the infinite ammo, turned on the invincibility, and I just sat back for a good solid 20 minutes, and I was just farming Raritarium. I was farming like all of the basic like materials that I needed, all these bolts and stuff, and I had like literally like around 500 Raritarium stuff and all this stuff, and the exploit still worked. But what was the most hilarious part about it, I did it to a certain extent where when I went to go grind later on, I actually crashed the game. No, man, I crashed the game twice. So once when I was doing like that, and once when I was farming amoeboids inside a Rilgar, because there's this one spawn point that you have near Gadgetron Station where you could actually use your weapons to level up that way. But I had leveled, I had used so much that I forgot to collect a lot of the bolts because literally the entire ground was nothing but bolts, essentially, that you could pick up. And because there are so much geometry, so much like things it'll spawn up at a specific point, I got to the maximum point to where the game actually froze for a second and crashed. Oh, but I didn't lose any save data. I didn't lose any type of progress with that. But no, man, it's like the Ed of Ratchet and Clank. I felt like was a fun experience. The story was what it was and stuff, but at the same time, the gameplay was fun. I did like a lot of the whimsical nature and stuff. The Woody Banner between that sort of like a Saturday morning cartoon sort of vibe and stuff. You have Doctor Nefarious, you have Drek, you have Captain Quark and stuff. The not so subtle like traitor in regards to that stuff. Man, it was actually pretty funny where it's like there's an achievement called Et2 Quark where it's like there's a specific like thing at the deplanetizer to where if you hit the door like this one section that's hidden off and stuff this door it's like hit a certain way you can actually overhear him talking about like talking to his streaming audience or something like that on the computer on top of Drek's ship and he's supposed to be like facing off against Drek or trying to confront him and stuff and it's like, oh, what is my most redeeming quality? Loyalty. The most that honestly is the most ironic statement imaginable because he's a fucking traitor.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, Ratchet and Clank 2016. That game, after going through the game twice, I can consider that game pretty great in that regards. I feel that it definitely deserves to be. It definitely is one of the best games on that PlayStation 4 when it first released, and even up to now, it's enough to warrant going through Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and stuff and experiencing what that has to offer. Which, from what I've seen from the state of play, hell, I had a lot of like interest in looking at the state of play stuff after completing the Ratchet and Clank like about a week ago. But yeah, that looks fantastic from what I've seen. But going on to the next game I've played some Pac Man 99
Oh, okay, cool.
because,
All right.
well, here's the thing, man. It's like I love Pac Man. I definitely had a lot of fun going through the 360 versions. I remember unlocking a lot of the achievements for Miss Pac Man for a lot of the
What was
Pac Man games there.
what was that Pac-Man? They like remade like a. Oh man, what was that? It was like a
Oh man,
Geometry Wars Pac-Man game.
there was like Pac Man DX. There's like Pac Man like DX Champion
I can't.
stuff.
There was like one on the 360
Hmm.
that came out, a Pac-Man game that I really got into. It was like a blast. Pac-Man
Oh man,
on 360.
it must have been like Pac Man DX or something like that, man.
It might have been. Let me look it up.
So
Go ahead though. I'm sorry.
what's interesting about it, it's sort of similar to other types of battle royale games where it's like you against 98 other people playing Pac-Man at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, it's super fun playing an arcade game against a lot of everyone else because it's kind of different than say like a Tetris or like say a Mario 99 or even against like say like Fall Guys or something where you're just on the board, you're collecting power pellets. There's you eat the fruit and all of a sudden you have the ghosts, the little miniature ghosts or some appear on the side that you can just go through and collect. Once you do that, once you get a power pellet, you can get this like cluster of ghosts and stuff going along the screen, and you can just chomp them all like one at a time and stuff eventually until you get rid of all of them and stuff. I have not played any of the single player type of aspect because I haven't really invested inside of buying the game. I just downloaded it for free because it was offered for free for on the Nintendo Switch Online stuff, which I currently re-upped like this past week. The game is fast, frantic, fun. Definitely is fun. The top, let's see, the best time I actually did have, the best game, I got all the way up to like about 22, I want to say, rank 22. So it's definitely got that addictive factor to where I would like to keep on playing it and stuff. And I don't play it to go and get the first place every single time. I play it so I can incrementally get better and understand what exactly I want to do in terms of each round because there will be some games like another type of battle royale games where you play it and you like lose like a couple of seconds in, or you'll just go through and just go through like a big old jaunt all the way up until like you have a cluster of people left. But man, I gotta admit, man, if you have a Nintendo Switch, this is definitely a game you should download, you should try out. Even if it's not your cup of tea, it's definitely worth a shot because of how trippy it can be playing Pac-Man with so many other people. I mean, there are some people that love to play the fucking Pac-Man because
Mm-hmm.
man, there's a lot of good players that I've been coming across. But what's kind of hilarious about it, it's like there will be there will actually be shadows of like little Pac-Men and stuff like that that will pop up to prevent your progress, especially if like the other players have gone through and eliminated a bunch of ghosts or this or that and stuff. It'll actually slow down Pac-Man for like a brief second. But if you go through a cluster of them and you're chasing the ghost will get you. So that's part of like a way the game design is presented to where, hey, if you don't do this fast enough, and some other players are going to box you in regards to slowing you down, and you're going to die eventually. But yeah, that game is pretty fun. But the game that I have been playing that I picked up yesterday and I've already spent quite a bit on is new Pokemon Snap.
Me too. Me too.
Yes. So Tyler, I know you and I both played new Pokemon Snap. I am interested in hearing your point of view of it first. So
Okay.
go
So to
ahead.
be fair, I've only played the first level.
Hmm.
Like I said, I was gonna play it. I only got to play a little bit last night. This Saturday, once again, as recording this, came out. I'm very burpy. Sorry. Um, Came out Friday, and I only got to play it for a little bit. But then I had to work, so couldn't stay up too late to play it. And then I was gonna play it when I got home, and then obviously spent my entire afternoon figuring out what the fuck happened to our podcast. So I've only been able to play like about an hour or so of it. Played the first level. Seems okay. Seems like it just seems like more Pokemon Snap, which is kind of really what I wanted. I do have some small nitpicks as far as like I don't like the star system right now, where like so you get one, two, three, or four stars for each Pokemon. You get like you get basically experience points or points for doing it, but for the pictures you take, but based off of how center they are, what they're doing, or where they're looking, or how close you are, or whatever, blah blah blah. And like what sucks is like one time I took a picture of a Pokemon. I had 2 stars. Um, so I'm like, oh okay. You after you complete a level, you take all the pictures. You have to like you can only pick one picture of each Pokemon at the end. So I have 6 pictures of, um, I don't know, name a Pokemon from the first level. I'm drawing a blank on them right now.
Like,
But
say if you have 6 pictures of a Pichu.
Pichu, yeah, something like that. Good, yeah, that's a good one. Um, you can only pick one. It'll tell you like you have 5 pictures. You have 5 1-star pictures. You have 1 2-star picture, and you got to figure out okay which one of these is probably a 2-star. And so you like, oh, I know, but if you pick the wrong one, you pick a 1-star. You that one's gone. It's gone forever. But I don't like is like all right. So one of them I had 0 1-stars of, but I had multiple 2-stars of that Pokemon. So I picked that one, obviously. Picked my favorite one of there's like 3 2-star pitchers. I just picked my favorite one of the 3. Picked it, but I only got the points for doing a 2-star. So that means I have to go back and take a picture of that one and also get a 1-star on top of that. So you can't just get like, say you take a picture of a Pokemon first time out, you get 4 stars is the max for a Pokemon. You get 4 stars first time out. You don't. They don't. Doesn't. There's no trickle down banging here. There's no trickle down economics, Gables. They don't, Nintendo and Pokemon don't give a fuck about Ronald Reagan. There's no trickle down nothing. You just get 4 stars. So that means you gotta go back and take pictures of them again and get a 3-star, go back, get a 2-star, and go back and get a 1-star. So that kind of bums me out a little bit here. Like this, like I said, I'm very early on. Overall, I'm enjoying the game. It's like I just want more Pokemon Snap, and it seems like that's what it is. I don't know how long it goes on for, but it's like that's kind of that's my one negative. But you told me you played a few hours of it. Um, I like I said, growing up with this game, I love Pokemon Snap. But to me, it's like Pokemon Snap was like I never owned Pokemon Snap. I rented Pokemon Snap or I played with friends. I remember going over to Justin's and 100%ing that game with Justin because I think he rented it, but I also rented it. I remember like one of my favorite like fondest memories is like coming with my dad would like in the winter. He would he grown up my entire life. He's been a truck driver, so in the winter he gets laid off. So he's sitting at home. I remember one day coming home from school. I take the bus to and from school, getting out, walking home, walk through the door, and my dad and his friend are playing Pokemon Snap on Nintendo 64. It's like a game they rented for me, and they're playing Pokemon Snap on N64, fucking Pokemon game. And they're playing Virtua Fighter on PlayStation or, so what the Call of Duty Big Red One or something like that. Nah, they're playing fucking Pokemon Snap, and it's just like it's like the way I looked at it was like that game was a perfect because like you finish it in a couple hours. If you really want to 100% it only take you 5 hours. And it's like that was a big thing with it. Like when this, like that was my concern when this game came out was like, is this worth $60? And right now, early on, maybe as like the kid in me saying yeah, I could see that like if you have kids, I think yeah they'll be playing this. Like I think if you're like maybe for someone like us, like you have fond memories of it or you heard about it, but you don't like you're not a big fan, you weren't a big fan or maybe I don't know, you just want to check it out. But what sucks is Nintendo games never go down in price, so it's like I can't say wait for a sale. But if you could find it for $40, maybe a year from now, check it out. But yeah, so far, like I said, I'm very early. I don't want to go like too hard on a judgment. But I'm wondering like, are they doing some kind of bullshit like padding out like replayability stuff? But I mean, Gables, you're a few hours in. I want to hear more of your take.
All right, so I understand the thoughts in regards to the whole like star numbering in that regards to the specific pictures because I understand that they want to enforce people to replay the levels over and over in regards to collecting different types of photos, this and that. But at the same time, I understand why they want you to select one Pokemon per like
Oh yeah,
trip
I don't have a
in
problem with
regards to
that.
one
I just
trip.
have a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's from the original. I like that idea. Pick your favorite one of that, or pick the what you think is the best one. My problem is like you know, if right away have a 4 star, give me the 3, 2, and 1. Trickle it down. Trickle down economics. That's
Right.
But that's my like picking one per thing. That's totally fine. That makes complete sense to me. I just don't want to have to like purposely take shitty pictures, because I took a too good of a picture the first time around. But go on. I'm sorry.
Right. I understand that. With new Pokemon Snap, this game, from what I have played of it so far, has surprised me quite a bit. It surprised me in a way which I actually was not expecting, and that was the amount of creativity I was having, the amount of creativity and fun I was having in terms of not just going through a lot of the different creatures and taking bits of photos, this and that, but yeah, I have played a little bit more of the game. I've played roughly around 3.5 hours, and that was between yesterday and today. I have gotten to a point in the game to where, and I could say this is kind of like a mini spoiler, so it's not like something major, but there will eventually come where it's like you'll get presented with like two like islands you could choose from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have one that's one element and one that's like of the other element in terms of different types of Pokemon. But you can go in any way that you want. Like, say you want to go with one over the other and stuff, you have the aspect to do so. But in that regards, what I do like, oh, pardon me,
COVID.
is, eh, but what I do like is it separates the different types of island things, the different places you have to visit into day and night cycles to
Mm-hmm.
where you'll have day one, it's like you'll have just during the day, you'll have night, and then on occasion you'll have like things like, say, like you'll have a special one and stuff that you can go through and like picture special creatures in that regards to a specific extent. But I do like the aspect that they go through and level up in regards to what you can go through and do. Like, for example, I am I have done like about three different areas so far. Yeah, I think it was like three different areas so far. I've gotten level two, rank two for day and night on
Okay.
all of them so far. So quintessentially throughout these three separate areas and stuff like that, I've went through them like quintessentially 6 times minimum, and that's from doing like so much just to get the rank two on the day and night cycles for all of these different places. There's a bunch of different Pokemon, different types of variety. There's a lot of experimentation you can do in regards to not only causing the Pokemon to do a specific event or like do like a specific type of thing that you want them to do, or come across with like unusual facial expressions. But a lot of the fun I'm discovering is just basically going through and just screwing around with things. Like when you go past a certain tree inside of one of the earlier levels and stuff, there's like a tree like with a hole and this and that. You
Yeah.
toss like a fluff fruit or something inside of it, you'll see a picky pack that's like hidden somewhere inside of it, and all of a sudden just pops out. Like, what the hell was that? And you can just photograph the reaction of that and this and that.
Sorry. It's
What?
like you said, there's a hole up there, and you toss something at it, and there's a little picky pet. I don't know why. It killed me. There's a little hole
Oh
over
my
there.
gosh.
Throw fruit at it. Picky pet. I have no idea what a picky pet is. It is hilarious. I like Pokemon. I gotta look up a fucking picky pet. This is amazing.
Well, Picky Pack is a Pokemon that was introduced in Gen 7 inside of the in the Alolan region and stuff. It's quintessentially just like a miniature, almost like a woodpecker.
I looked up picky peck and I got a song called Pika Pika by Steve Aoki and the Loopers. I'm thinking you're just making shit up. Pick E. How do you spell it? Tell how do you spell it?
So Pik, let's see, I, and then Peck.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense what you just said. Picky peck. Oh, he's adorable. I feel bad for laughing at him, but he's adorable. Well, no, wait, no. I just seen his final evolve status. He looks like Toucan Sam. So,
Well,
I
yeah, that was one of the common critiques of that
yeah.
final evolution, but that damn Pokemon was pretty fun to play as because the fucking thing was like had its own separate like awesome attack that just basically uses fucking like his fucking bill or something like that is like a colossal damage sort of shit. But as I was saying in that regard, you'll discover certain secrets to where you'll find a Pokemon appearing out of a tree, or it'll lead you into a specific type of area and stuff where you can actually photograph it in that regards. But what I'm loving is it gives you the incentive to go back after you get like certain aspects, like you say, like you get fluff fruits or you get like specific items you can use on different Pokemon to either illuminate them or cause them to do like different things and stuff in that regards. I'm really loving how the game looks. The game runs fairly well, and honestly, for something that's still like in 1080p and like with the limitations of the graphical stuff currently with the Switch, it does look fairly well.
Hmm.
The one thing I have seen so far, especially when with my big TV and stuff that I got in my background, I have it docked. I've been playing it docked, but I noticed just a little bit of a cutoff thing in terms of like not formatting well, like on the screen itself.
Okay, I noticed that too. Where like, um, in like the bottom right corner, part of
Yeah,
like the like press this button, press the A button or the X button, that does get cut off. I'm wondering if
yeah.
there's like when you,
Sometimes
I'm
it
sorry,
just
go ahead.
feels like that this game was not really formatted too well to fit on like TV screens, but more or less more like on a handheld sort of experience.
Yeah. Well, I
That's what
mean,
it kind of feels like.
there are games where you can like format the screen a little bit and like bring it in some more or whatever.
But
Um,
this one doesn't have that option.
yeah, usually you get it up front. I haven't gone in the settings to look. Um,
I have gone to the settings and there
okay.
isn't anything that I could see currently that I could adjust the screen in regards to fitting it inside the TV. It may just be me, but I would have to double check inside the game's menu in of itself because that's something I kind of feel like that's quintessentially important, especially if you want to get the best kind of picture element out of it, so you're not missing things. Like I know I have been like somewhat, but I've also had to adjust the sensitivity of the control sticks because I felt they were too slow in regards to the reactions times that I've had. So from default, they're on the level 4 in sensitivity for both like the reticle and also for the camera. I set them up to about 6 or something like that, or yeah, like around 6 because I felt like it was a lot more response, like much more of a good response for me to move them left, right, whatever. It's quintessentially almost the same type of sensitivity experience when I play like a first person shooter or like whatever. Because honestly, it feels like when I'm doing like reactionary type of things when I'm photographing a Pokemon, it just feels like I'm missing something because they're going by so quick, especially in front of the screen. Especially if like you start off in the course and all of a sudden you just see something just kind of fly by your face, like what the fuck was that? And like all of a sudden, I've had that happen a couple different times to where either a random Pokemon flies by my face, which is honestly like maybe like a Picky Peck or like a Talo or like a fucking oh god, or inside of one stage I was at, there was like this big old like dragonfly thing. It's called a Yon Mega, right? But this dragonfly just comes by like right at the top left corner, and you'll completely miss it if like say you are not like looking up at that moment in time. But if you look like straight ahead, like you have to literally look all over the place just to see if like you're missing a Pokemon doing this or doing that or whatsoever. And on top of that, scanning items and different types of aspects to get like little clues on what Pokemon will do what or do where. A good example of that is on the very first course on the day one. If you come back with the fluff fruit and stuff, it's like you have a scan or something like, wow, this group of like food right here looks like it was like cooked or something. What the hell made that? And all of a sudden you put a fluff fruit in stuff, and all of a sudden you have a creature goes through and it kind of like heats up the thing with its own like attack and stuff like, oh okay. And if you take a picture of that, that's like a 3-star sort of like thing. But I'm loving the customization portion of uploading the pictures that you take online because it gives you a lot of different options in order for you to not only edit it but also give it its own captions and stuff. Obviously, you can't post any type of inappropriate like pictures or inappropriate like freaking captions when you upload things.
No
And yeah, I've
pick
already
no
seen.
pick a peck that dick pics.
But yeah, I've already seen like Nintendo taking down like pictures I haven't necessarily have seen, like a lot of the pictures that some people have uploaded up, but it's already people are taking them down.
So you're
So they're
saying,
very serious what
so
they're
you're
going
saying there
through
might
to
be Pika dick pics out there.
do. I don't know, man. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if
All
someone
right.
tried to put try to put one
Google.com, safe search off. Let's see what we got here.
up. Oh, but what's interesting is some of the pictures that I've uploaded, they've actually received. You can actually receive like likes or like sweet like ratings or something by individual users online while playing the game. So if you go back to like your, if you go back to the lab and stuff, and you go to different types of features. Let's say if you go to your album and stuff, you can check some of your pictures that you've taken. You can actually save them to an album, or you can actually, if you do it that way, you can actually save it onto the Switch itself, so you can share it off to like different platforms if you choose to. I definitely love what I have taken pictures of so far because I literally have gotten like a couple of pictures that have made me laugh out loud. Like I have a picture of this Pokemon by the name of Ariados, right? Which is basically a tarantula with like an extra pair of legs on its back of its thorax and stuff. And it was like basically standing up on end because it was so pissed because I threw like a fruit at it, right? And I'm like, it's
Pissed
up
too.
like this, and so I got the most appropriate like frame for it because it was angry, so I got the little angry sort of like scrunching thing that like say certain anime characters get if they get angry and this and that, and all of a sudden it's like a
Oh.
dramatic pose. And for the caption of it, I just have it in all caps, screaming, "My cabbages!" And it's just basically an Ariados just screaming at the sky or something like that, but there's nothing there. But I do love the community aspect of it. There were some very fucking creative like people out there that have already put so much like fun photos online. One of my very favorites is like there's a picture of like Grookey and Pichu that was trending. They have like glasses on, this and like that. It just is titled NWA.
That's pretty good. I like that one a lot.
So that's one of the best aspects of this game that I've encountered so far. I, you know what? I've enjoyed a lot on through and played through the courses and snapping a lot of different creatures, but the creativity of the community aspect and uploading onto Nintendo servers and seeing what people are coming up with, that's been one of the most enjoyable portions of it too. Because a lot of people are loving this game, you know. I'm loving this game so far. This has definitely been a surprising game for me. Like I knew going in, I was a big fan of Pokemon Snap back in the day. I was one of those kids that owned Pokemon Snap, went through, completed it. I actually have it on the Wii U's Virtual Console. I actually downloaded it a couple of years ago, played through it again. It's still a fun experience. And
Mm-hmm.
there are definitely aspects I feel that they improved on from the original game. And I feel like there's parts where it's better than the original game. I mean, honestly, by a mile. And one of the key complaints that I feel like they've addressed in this game so far, it's like in the original Pokemon Snap, you can complete it in like in a couple of hours if you know what you were doing. And for me, like the first week, I completed it pretty much in a week, which was like almost like 5, 6 hours or something like that. But I'm already up to that point where it's like 4 hours. I'm like, oh, well, you know, there's still a bunch of shit I can do. But yeah, the complaint about like the different type of stars to take certain Pokemon, certain pictures. I mean, it's not really as explainable. They don't go into details in regards to what classifies what as a 1-star picture or a 2-star picture. You're pretty much left to figure it out on your own. It's pretty cumbersome, but I have gotten 4-star pictures. I have gotten some threes and stuff, but it's kind of confusing when you have to try to figure out what's a 2-star picture, what it's classified as. It really won't let you know unless you go into that foray and then you when you go to pick a picture and stuff with the professor, it'll actually show what type of stars in this, and it'll tell you, and the professional will tell you why that this is this type of grade and this
Yeah.
and that. But more classification, just more clarification on what classifies as a 1-star photo or a 4-star photo. And basically, what I was left to grasp is if it's doing some type of emotion, if you got like the Pokemon Center on the screen, or you have like the big old facial expressions or whatsoever, or if there's some sort of like event or something to where it's doing something different than what it should be, or like then it's mostly interesting, then it'll be like a 4-star or some shit. But You know what? I'm fairly enjoying this game, Tyler.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna play more of it. I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'm gonna get as deep. It's probably one of those games I probably play through and beat all the levels. I don't think it's gonna be something I go back to and try to get all like 4-star, 3-star, two
Well,
star for
yeah.
everything.
It's
But
like
yeah,
for our listeners, mileage is gonna vary. This may be the type of game you'll probably be bored by, or this may be the type of game where it's like, hey, it's chill enough to where I'm just gonna go forth and just screw around with it and see what I end up with.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna keep playing more of it. I'll talk about more next week. So I'm sure Gables and I know Gables will play it more, and I'm sure I will as well. So so I got tomorrow off as well. So I'm looking forward to jumping into that when I get up in the morning, drink some nice, beautiful, delicious coffee, playing some Pokemon Snap, and finally watching the season finale Invincible. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that will wrap it up for this week. So real quick, once again, we are not at all places. We are at some places. Check us out. We are on Spotify and Podbean as of right now. Also on YouTube and Twitter, not well, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch as well. So like, follow, subscribe, 5 stars. Obviously, we need it now more than ever because we are starting all over again. So the more people that go out there, we really would appreciate it. Like I said, I'm working on it. I'll have more details next week about where we're at, and hopefully we can keep continue and getting in more and more places and get us back to hopefully where we were again shortly. But until next time, Gables, I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, I hope that you have yourself a good day. I hope you guys are playing some fantastic games. And honestly, for those of you that are listening that have been with us, or if you're new coming into the fray, thank you for listening to a fun filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yeah,
Too sweet, baby.
too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.